I just spent a month living with millionaires and I wrote down 8 kind of surprising things that I learned along the way.
Only for the night, only for the night.
Technically, not all of them had $1 million liquid in the bank, but many of them are founders of 7-figure per year businesses. I built 2 in the past as well, but that's a story for another day. By the way, if you want to check out the founder houses, they're run by Art of Mondays. I've got a link in the description. We run them all over the world. Go check it out. So here are the 8 things that I discovered while living with these founders. The last one is by far the most important. Number 1 is that you don't need to have it all figured out. Many of these guys have trouble making decisions. They're questioning their business models. They're even still trying to find out what their why is. And I think that's important because there's this false fallacy that, people who have successful businesses have everything figured out. They know exactly what they're doing. They're different to you or I. Reality is they're just like us. They have limiting beliefs. They have all of the same shit going on in their heads. They just have a way of working through it and still achieving what they want to achieve. Number 2 is release your attachment to money. In fact, release your attachment to pretty much everything. You want to be operating from a state of abundance, not scarcity. You're holding on to money and every single cent because you're afraid to lose it all. And that's what's keeping you broke. The secret is believing that money is easy to attain. Some of these guys earned 7 figures in a day, lost 7 figures in a day. And you compare that to, someone who works 12-hour shifts for a whole year to make 50, 60 grand a year minimum wage. Money feels hard, long, blood, sweat, and tears to attain. And so it is. So it's more of a shift into belief that money is easy to attain. And that comes back to being outcome focused and not tied to working hourly to make money. You want to earn more with less time. And there's books like 4-Hour Work Week and a handful more that can help you shift this mindset. But think in outcomes, not time. Number 3 is the idea that you start with probably isn't going to make you wealthy. Neither is the second, probably not the third either. The trick is actually just starting and letting that first thing lead into the next and the next. So many people get analysis paralysis because they feel like they have to have the perfect idea to start, but that's holding you back and you just have to go through that. So just start, it'll figure itself out. Number 4 is find a point of reference. And a point of reference is essentially someone that has done what you plan to do, and then you model off them. The chance of you finding that 0.0001% idea that hasn't been done before and there's a market for and demand for is so slim that you're just kidding yourself trying. So find someone that's done it before, model off them, put your own spin on it, make it young and sexy and do your thing. This is true for viral videos. It's true for business models. It's true for most things in life that if you want to be good and successful at it. Also because that instills belief. Seeing that it's been done before makes it feel possible to you if you can resonate with that person. So you're not trying to do that thing that's never been done before. That's just so rare these days. Number 5 is this concept called the simple stick. And I think it comes from Steve Jobs' book. And it's essentially when you look at anything in your business or really anything that you do, can you hit it with a simple stick? Can you make it more efficient? Can you make it less complex? That's really the concept here. It's taking things that are complex and making them simple. And in fact, that's how most people get paid. Taking a complex idea and communicating it simply. That's how videos go viral. Taking something that is typically complex and hard to do and making an easy solution for it. That's a great business model. So simple stick is something that I heard more recently, but it really resonated with me. And I try to do in every single part of my life now is just simple stick it. Number 6 is to be a perpetual learner. In other words, be curious. And I had a moment when I was 11 or 12 years old and we lived on a farm down in the countryside, and my grandparents visited us for the weekend, and my granddad was driving me down the same road that I've driven 3 times a day for several years and past all these paddocks and trees and all the rest. And he turns to me randomly and he goes, "Jai, how many cows were in that paddock that we just passed?" And I was, mindlessly staring out the window, paying no attention. I said, "I don't know, Granddad." And he looks back at me and he goes, "You need to be more observant." And he just went quiet and kept driving. And I remember I didn't really know how to react at the time, but the next day when we drove that same road, you best believe, I counted the cows, and that flowed on into many parts of my life. Actually, I feel like that was a catalyst for me being more curious, and I'm very grateful for Granddad for teaching me that lesson. The other way to look at being a perpetual learner is just always asking why. Why does this happen? Why does this work this way? Why? and just going deeper and questioning things is the way I like to look at it. Okay, number 7, nearly done. Think in leverage. Person A can work 12 hours a day for a whole year and earn $50,000. Person B can work 1 hour a day and earn $5 million. The difference is in skill and leverage, not how hard or how long they worked. Naval Ravikant talks about labor, code, and media being your forms of leverage. So labor is hiring people. There's a saying, you might be able to do something at 100%, and someone else could only do that at 80% of how you could do it, but 10 people at 80% is still 800% output, and you can only ever do 100%. So think of labor as a form of leverage, although I think that's becoming more outdated. Code as a form of leverage, when you basically build something once and you can sell it forever, an app, software, etc. And media as leverage, which is essentially putting content out in the world. And this is potentially the most relevant. This is the thing I'm very interested in, creating content that can then be seen by millions and millions of people and live on the internet and gain views over a long period of time. Is a huge form of leverage. So there are ways you can get started, and then just every decision you make, try to think in leverage. Outcomes instead of hours, like I talked about earlier. I'm going to come close for the last one. And finally, life is more important than money. Don't get so caught up trying to make millions that you're never present and you feel guilty anytime you're not working and you don't have core friendships and you're not traveling the world and experiencing new things. Life is more important. Don't let anyone tell you differently. I have built a 7-figure agency, I built a 7-figure brand, and I left both of them to basically go incomeless and travel the world for 6 months, and it was the greatest thing that I did, and it led to so much more alignment and what I'm working on now. Sometimes you just need to change it all, and you have permission to do so. If you enjoyed this, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.